I thought I could just do a quick summary of some of the things that come to my mind as an older member of the club. And basically, if I could start in 1970, just to put it in context, when the club started, Oldham's Road was a gravel road. There were three landmarks in the suburb. One was Piggly Wiggly. Does anyone remember Piggly Wiggly? That's now the Chisholm Centre. The second was the winery, and I'm sure many of you remember the winery. That location is now Chalmers Cellars. And the third was a run-down farm shed off Junction Road, opposite the fields, which the club developed and became the cow shed. So it was a pretty major part of our history. You might know the club started with 5 teams. Unfortunately, because of the speed that they gathered, they didn't have their own strip and they had to borrow a strip from Hollowood United. But by mid-season, the strip had turned up and so had another 5 teams. So at the end of 70, there was 10 teams. In 1978, I became involved with the club, and that was when my son started. The suburb had grown a bit. We now have a Red S supermarket. Adjoining that is the Winston Hills Hotel. St Paul's had built a chapel in the area, and we'd opened up 2 schools. One was Winston Heights and the other one was Model Farms High School. So a lot had happened in those years. A lot had happened with the club as well. We'd gone from 10 teams to 43 teams. And we'd also started an under 6 bed. Now, the thing I've got to say about the under 7s, where my son started, they played on a full-size field. Right? Full-size field, full-size goals. The only consideration was they played a little size 3 ball. So you can imagine this horde of kids just running around the field like hornets, kicking a ball from one to the other. And to the credit of this club, they saw that wasn't helping anyone. And it was through the hard work of the then committee that we started the development of their colours. So from that point of view, we were ahead of our time, much to the dismay of Granville, who didn't want it to happen. And during that formative period, I think a lot needs to be said for the people that were on the committees, because they were the ones that started it. You know, it started as a community club where everyone, I mean everyone, helped to build. As we moved into the 80s, it became more of a task of keeping it all together and growing it. And it was the period of, I call the working bees and the rosters. We used to have rosters for everything. We'd have rosters for the black bags, rosters for field marketing, rosters for canteen duty, rosters for the magazine. Just, you know, and that's the only way to get people to do things, because physically the committee couldn't get it done before we paid people. But during this period, there were a number of people that were very, very involved, and I'd just like to mention a couple. The first was Bruce Bell, who was past president of the club. He really was the one that drove the Bear Cubs, and along with Manny and Janice Ferrugia, I'm sure a lot of the boys remember, they were the ones that took the Bear Cubs from the under 6s to the under 6s, the under 7s, and the under 8s. Now, when they started playing, they played out of Black Manor, but through working bees, we actually made fields around the cow shed. So all the competition was based there. Now, the other reason it had to happen was because we had no grounds. I heard in some of the grounds we have now, Balcombe Hills treated us like lepers. They'd had nothing to do with the club, even though the grounds were named after the father of one of the members for Balcombe Hills. So many of the younger, lower divisions never played at home. they'd have to play on the grounds that were vacant for that week. So they weren't known as travelled around. But by moving the Bears into their own competitions, we free up more and more ground. Another person that needs special mention is his son's here, Don McDougall. Don was secretary of the club for a number of years, but more importantly, he went to the Granville Association secretary, and he was really our advocate. A lot of the things we did weren't popular with Granville, but by having Don there, we had an insight into what their feelings were and how we could actually counter their objections. Little Kern, Brad's mum, she ran the canteen for many, many years on a voluntary basis. She'd do the ordering, she'd supervise the staff, all out of the graciousness of the lady that she was. Barry got Margaret, how are you? Barry was probably the champion of ladies soccer in the club. He was the one that fought to get the girls involved, and I can remember going to a meeting where, because Granville didn't run a competition, we actually joined Southern Districts, I think it was, and that really got it started. I think it was with one all-age side and an under 16s maybe, so we might have played for. Yeah. So, he was that sort of guy. Vince Balzen, who was Mr. Soccer for this club. He was the first club coach, he was also secretary. He truly believed in the development of skills, and he started to do coaching courses for coaches and try and improve the overall abilities of the people that were teaching the players how to play the game. There were many, many others that you could talk about. Jimmy Hollis Watts, he did a lot. A good friend of mine, Max Tully, he was one of our groundsmen at the time. Another friend, Ray Smith, he was a fearless and tireless worker. Arthur Austin, Tony North, Red Wales Couriers. These guys put so much time and effort into this club, and really, we probably wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for their work. So with that, as I say, it's a history of people involved. But we play soccer for various reasons, and I suppose you measure success by winning. I know we say we don't, we actually do. I'm sure as parents, coaches, managers, we can all remember going to grand finals and winning it and how great we felt. Going to presentation day and getting the trophy and saying, this is fantastic, we're back next year. That's all great, but really what I believe it was about getting boys, later girls, because unfortunately my time was more boys than girls, was getting them involved and getting them to keep playing the game. And I suppose from my point of view, the thing that really brought home to me was in 1994, the club went back into Premier League. We'd had a couple of stints there, and we'd sort of come and gone, as Bruce would know. But when we joined, the squad, which consisted of the first and reserve grade side, was made up of boys who'd been with the club since the early or the late 70s. So when they started to play, they'd already played 10 to 15 years with the club. And from that, great friendships were born. And great association with the club. So, from that perspective, as their coach, I was always proud to say that the players, and there's a whole group of me tonight, really have become firm and bonded friends over the years. Can I get two of you guys to grab that jersey? One you've been looking at. So, on their behalf, I want to present this jersey to the club because it represents the efforts of these guys over that period, culminating in playing Premier League. They did okay, they won a few comps. But the main thing was that they built friendships that have lasted, and they will always remain firm friends. And the other thing I want to bring to the club is the plaque that we got for winning the state titles in 1996. So hopefully when the clubhouse is built, that there'll be a place for them to go. Okay, so thank you.